What's up, guys? This is Dr. Vic. You're listening to another episode here on the Mindful Experiment. I'm excited to have you here, have you on, and dive deep into a topic that I've talked about before on the podcast and so much more. And I want to bring this up in a different way to help individuals, not just with businesses, but in life in general, how to find success. May that be health, may it be in relationships, may it be in business, money, career, you name it. This stuff is going to help you understand what's the main work that you have to do to create that. Okay. And not be what you may think it is. And so much more. So make sure you stay to the end of this. Before we dive in, check out, I'm speaking at the Coptic Center. They're doing a virtual event, and I was invited to speak at their summit. And it's going to be one of these great ones. A ton of great speakers are going to be there. Really help open your mind and elevate your consciousness to a whole new world. I'll be talking about how to decode your matrix. And what is that? What does it look like? And how can you break away from the influences of life to really find your source and connect with it and really let that be expressed. And when I say source, that's your inner gift, your greatness, your whatever terminology you like, okay? But it's bringing that essence of who you are into the world, your light, and so much more. So it's in the show notes. Register. It's completely for free. You can check it all out. It's going to be in March. I have all the details there below. To join and be a part of that. If you have not already, we have a Facebook group. Check it out. We're starting to grow. We're putting energy into in 2025. Our goal is to break over 1,000 members, and we really want to create a shift and a change into society. We just feel like this is the time to really push that. And that's why we've been kind of bringing that out there. So if you're on Facebook, check it out. Just link in the show notes, make it easy on you. Just click there and you can do that and so much more. And I think that's all I have for today. I have a free class. You can check that out. We are launching our Return to Source program. So join the waitlist. We are going to be releasing in a few weeks. Those who are on the waitlist will get a significant discount. I highly recommend it. This is all the work I've cultivated in the last 15 to 20 years. And I'm putting it all together into a class to really help individuals who really want to do something that is science-based, spiritual-based, and really allow you to take neuroscience principles. What's the newest thing in quantum physics? How does this all play a role? Universal laws, law of attraction, and what are the things I need to do to create my reality and what I want to create? It doesn't matter your business and a career, stay-at-home mom. This is going to help you in every facet of your life. And it's one of the things that we're going to return back to our source, the creator, who we really are, and how to create that for ourselves. I'm very excited about this program. I highly recommend you get on the wait list now. There is just a little incentive. Joining the waitlist gets you a steep discount because I'm going to share that with you first before we go on market live, and that price will not be shared to the public at all. So join the waitlist. It's on the show notes, and we'll go from there. So, today's topic is all about, manifestation and really just diving into, well, how do we manifest, right? Because how do we create our reality? Because for some people, they don't like what they're experiencing, and they don't understand why they are. For business people, when I work with them, it's like they constantly are working towards striving to a goal, and they're just not getting there. And they're like, I don't understand. I do everything I'm being told to do. I'm doing all the advice. I'm doing, and yet I'm not getting there. I'm hitting a wall, and I'm not thriving like I'm supposed to, or not thriving like everyone else I hear about, and how all these other people are doing so great. And so, or you could be in a relationship and this relationship isn't great. I don't know how I got here. I don't like the person I'm with, X, Y, Z. Or I'm not making the money I want to make, or the job I'm in is not the one I wanted and what I experienced, but I don't know why. Nothing's working out for me. I'm trying to get a new job. I can go on and on with this. My health, my body's not what I like it to be, the way I look in the mirror, or my health has been really bad. I got some blood work and got some bad news. I'm not liking it. There's reasons behind all this. Okay. And there is a process behind it all that states this, that you can't do yourself out of something that you keep giving energy and focus to. You can't do yourself out of a way where you keep giving life to something opposite of that. And so one of the big things, and this is what I work with coaching clients, is we get into the aspect of what's your purpose, man? What's your purpose in life? What is it that you want to achieve? Why is this important to you? A lot of times when you get tired of something, let's say you're not making ends meet financially, you get stuck on the lack. And so then you're like, I want to make this, or I want to have this. Well, why? Because I don't have it right now, and that's what I want. Well, you just said you're focusing on the lack, so you're not going to get there. You're just not. You have to want it because you just want it. I mean, I can't make this any more simple. Like when I work a coach client, I'm telling them all the time, like, and you've heard me say this, if you've been listening to my podcast, I've been saying this for a very long time, that my whole thing is to get you back to a 3, 4 year old. That's it. And if you don't understand what that means, go hang out with a 3, 4 year old and watch how they just want to do things because they just want to. I have a daughter who's 2.5 years old, and it's fun because I'll always ask them, like, what do you want to do? Play. What do you want to play? And we'll do the same freaking thing 1,000 times. I don't get bored of it. I mean, maybe some days, but for most days I don't because I'm living in her world and it's trying to see it in her eyes as best as I can. That's just exciting to play. And so maybe it's a sandwich shop, maybe it's an ice cream shop, maybe it's acting like we're at a supermarket, maybe it's pretend like we're cooking. She wants makeup, okay, so it's pretending because, but for her, it's her reality, and she's just choosing whatever she wants, not because I heard that a lot of 2.5-year-olds, this is what they're doing, and so I heard that's cool, so that's why I want to do it, or I want to be in this career, or I want to make this much money because X, Y, Z, because so and so does it, or I saw this influencer, or I saw this person doing it. They do it because of what they care about doing. So it's getting back to that why, like what's really important. Like for me, I've been looking at so in 3 years from now, I'm putting it out there already. I said 3 years from now, I'm going to hit a goal. And in that goal, I'm going to get a really nice car. It's going to be a truck. And I don't care how much it costs. It might cost me $150,000, I think. Nowadays, might be even more. And some people say, we're going to spend $150,000 on a truck for. I don't care what your opinion is or what you think is. I want it because I just want it. I think it's going to be awesome. I like trucks. I like fast cars. And this thing has it all. It competes with a Lamborghini. I don't care about Lamborghinis. They're too small to be around. I don't enjoy it. So everyone's like, oh, you can have that fancy car. I don't care about Lamborghinis. I really don't. Ferraris, care less. Bentleys, care less. Rolls Royce, doesn't interest me. A pickup truck that can go like 0 to 60 in 2 seconds and look sweet as heck. Yeah, sounds good to me. And so I'm already putting that out there in 3 years. I'll do it. Now some people say, why wait 3 years? Why can't you do it in a year? I could do it in a year, but I have some things that are attached to that have to happen, not for how much money I make. It's just how I want to create it. I want to have passive income cover the whole thing, so I don't have to spend a dime out of my pocket. And I'm putting it out there, and that's why I want to do it. It's fun. It's exciting to me. It's cool. Can I create it? I know I can. Will it take time? Of course. Will it happen? Absolutely. When? No, I'm putting 3 years on it. But I'm open to earlier, and I'm open to a little later too. They'll come when I'm ready, when things are all aligned for it. But that's what I want to create. And so, do I do vision work on it? Of course. How do I feel when I walk into it? How do I feel when I get out of it? How's my daughter going to feel when we go, hey, we're going in daddy's truck today? Oh, love it. How's my wife going to feel? I say, let's go in the truck today. Or when I'm going to get some tools or picking up some stuff to build a project. See, I put what matters to me in my life and then seeing it there in reality right here, right now. That's how clear you have to be with it. And seeing it crystal clear of why and what's the purpose behind it. Not because of somebody else. What does it mean to you? So like, here's an example. So let's say I'm going to share it for a couple. So business owners, work with a lot of business owners. So a lot of times they want to make more money. They want to, I want to have, I want to make $1 million a year plus. Okay, cool. Why? It's just, it'll help me with this, help me pay debt, help me pay that. Okay, fine. But what gets you excited about having that? Like, why is $1 million so important? What's the feeling behind it? And some people say, well, it's your freedom and having more time that I can do that, have more time with family, free up things to do this. Okay, so why don't you just focus on having more time with your family? Why don't you just focus on having more freedom with your family and forget the $1 million? Well, the $1 million gets me there. No, it doesn't. Because you make $1 million a year over and over again. Eventually, you're going to have a lot more time on your hands. But it's not deep enough. You got to get clear on that. So why is it so important? So what's important to you then? Right? For me, is spending as much time as I can with my family. I know there are things that I'm also passionate about that I love to do, running a businesses in general. Eventually I have layers to what I want to do, real estate stuff that I want to get into that I'm just passionate about with flipping and things like that. And my wife likes to do the design, so we want to create something like that. I have a business mindset, so I love to, take over businesses eventually and how to repurpose them and help them resystemize or reorganize and teach them the stuff I teach business clients as a team, and then help to evolve that and maybe keep it or sell it off at a higher value. I love that kind of stuff. It drives me. It's fun. So I have to do those things on top of everything else, but having majority of my free time, the family. So if I take half my week, I'll work 3 days a week and the rest goes to my family. That's it. And so, but being clear on why that is. So I hope you're picking up on this energy I'm speaking about with my tone of my voice and so forth. If you're watching the video, you can see I'm moving my hands a lot faster when I'm doing that. So you want to get there. The second thing why a lot of times people don't get there is because you just have distractions. I've said this in my book, Rediscover Your Greatness. If you have a lack of focus, you'll never get there. Period. I wrote 53 pages on that in one chapter. So it's the focus is the key. You got to ignore all the noise, and that's harder than you think, because are you comparing yourself to where your goals are? Are you comparing yourself to where you want to go? If you're a stay-at-home mom, right? I said there'll be other examples I share. So like, how about if you're a stay-at-home mom? Well, what's important to you? The family, the kids growing up. Make sure they have a good education. They're well fed. They're well nurtured in many ways. If you're doing homeschooling, or if you're taking them to school, you're always looking at what's the family unit, how important it is. So if you envision why it's important and why you want to do that and hone in on the vision, it'll happen because you're putting the energy to that, right? Now we get into like, let's say you want to make more money. It's the same thing. Why is money important? Or you want to have better health. Well, why is that important to you? I want to play with my grandkids. Great. What does that mean to you? What are you going to play? And how do you see that happening? And how long do you want to play with them for? How many years do you want to go into doing that? Right? It's creating the purpose and holding on to the purpose. It's one of the biggest secrets to longevity. But you want to avoid distractions that hold you back from those things, right? So moms or I say moms for the most part, there are stay-at-home dads, but majority are moms. And it's one of those things where moms do mom shaming, right? Or moms compare. They do a ton of different things like that. That limits you. In business, we measure to see how well someone's successful based upon, maybe their financial success or how they look and appear on social media, which half of it's fake, more of it's fake than you think. It's funny how when I go on my stream, how there's so many, everyone's successful. Everybody is. And I'm just like, I know the percentages of success. So it always interests me to see the level of success, how much shows up there. And so don't get caught into the distractions and the distractions of your own mind, the distractions of your own old programs. Like a lot of people want to get into, subconscious healing. And I used to be that way too. Like, we're going to get into it. Now I'm like, what do you want to do from here on out? Because that's what matters. Or my traumas in the past. And I'm trauma and I have to work through my traumas. Yeah, you do. I'm saying that doing those things are very important. I've done a lot of that work myself. I've interviewed a ton of people through trauma. But there comes a point in a time where you have to make a choice. You're going to let that override you for the rest of your life, or are you going to choose to make something different from that point on? And so there's a lot of distractions, a lot of noise that you can get into, but the key is to avoid at all costs and keep your focus on where you're going and the reason why. Okay. There is something about, and Donald Trump said this in one of his books, and I know some people love him, some people hate him. I really, I'm not getting political here, but it was something that really stood out for me in one of his books I read from years ago. And that was momentum is success. You got to create momentum. And when you get momentum going, that starts to create the pattern for success. It opens the door for you for success and so much more. And I can't tell you how powerful that is. There's so much behind that on a quantum physics level, a neuroscience level, universal. You have to build this momentum and get things moving in that direction of where you want to go. It's a game changer for you in your life when you do that, because when you have momentum, you're moving in the direction. And it's like eventually in the beginning, it might just be like a little ant walking. It can be influenced by wind and many other things, but eventually it becomes a semi-truck. And eventually becomes an airplane. Eventually becomes a cargo ship. It eventually becomes a rocket going out of space. That level of momentum you get more and more as you go. This is neuroscience, because the one time when you do something differently, you create a different connection. But since it's only the first time, it's not really going to stick. But as you keep doing something, Hebb's law, nerves that fire together wire together. What that means is the more you do something in one way, it's like a weighted connection that gets stronger, and it makes it easier to connect to that level. As you keep doing this work, it'll eventually start to shift. You're taking energy from the old pattern and shifting into the new, and that will start to develop a whole new pathway, which creates a whole new life for you from that way. That's momentum. That's the neuroscience behind it. I said before, you want to be very clear on your purpose, and I shared some examples of your higher intentions, right? Talk to clients. I always want to make more money, $1 million plus, this and that. I want to double my business next year. What does that all mean? What's the deeper purpose behind it? Let's focus there. Well, one of my things in my chiropractic offices is that I want to have 10 practices in 10 years when I first came back. And right now I told my wife it's going to be 8 years, 10 offices. And I can tell you right now, if I looked at where I was to how that's going to happen, I have no idea. I'm far away from that goal right now. But I know that this is a long-term game. And I know that once I create the momentum, and I get it really going, then it becomes a little easier to start opening up other things and be able to get to that point. Now, why do I want to do it? Just because I say I have 10 offices and I have that ego thing and I go like, yeah, look at me? Absolutely not. There's a higher purpose. I want to create a standard for chiropractic in the way that it was originally designed. Be able to teach the public. And I can use my practices as a sitting front force to do that. So then I can share and educate. And I can coach the chiropractors there to help them elevate in every aspect of their life and be part of the team where they take part ownership of that too. They could, and I just have this huge vision of this. And it was something I had back in 2016, but I had the opportunity to do it. And I listened to some people who were more well-to-do than I was. And they told me not to open up other offices, stick with one and make it the best. So I was like, okay, if that's what they say, I'm going to do it. So I did. I look back now and I wish I did it, but I also appreciate the timing of that because I would have never moved away from Illinois. That's a whole nother thing about how everything just lines for you. So, but it's having that deeper intention of the why, right? And so there's that. Why do I want to go out to the masses now and teach what I've been teaching business owners and helping people to connect more to the source? Why is it so critically important? Well, it's because we need more light in this world and we need more people living their truth. Number two, we have conditionings that are going on that I'm not okay with. And I want people to be true to themselves and honor themselves and remember the greatness of who they really are. Because when you know that, no fear, no worry, no lower vibrations can exist. When you know the true power and the essence of where you come from and how you are part of this whole entire big thing and how important you are. And there's a big reason why, if I want to go deeper and why I do this podcast still, right? Why do I still do podcasting? Me asked me, why did you still do podcasting? I said, because it's something I can give to the world. You get to know a little bit of me and I get to share to the world who I am, what I do, and what I'm up to, and to be able to help in any way, shape, or form. And so, but coming from that purpose is, I wish as a kid I had this advice. I wish as a kid someone nurtured me this way. And so, in essence, I'm also speaking to my inner child. So there's healing that comes from a lot of this. That's the more selfish side of it. And then, but from that, I get to share with the world, and hopefully this resonates with one person. One person is all I care about. Yeah, it'll be great if it was millions, but it's one person because then I know I made a difference in one person's life, and that's going to create a trajectory shift, and it's going to create a ripple effect in that process. So you got to hold on to that no matter what, and hold on to that process. So as we wrap things up, I'll just tie it again really quick. Clarity of your purpose, of your why you're doing that, right? Avoid the distractions. You create your momentum, and always remember the higher intention of why. Always remember that. What's the deeper purpose to it? Aligning with it. And aligning means this too. I forgot to mention this. Is that when you're doing align with your higher intention, that why and that purpose, you want to make sure your actions are aligned to that. Because if they're not, you're missing the mark and things won't be as successful. One of the things I used to teach business, I still do, is effortless success. And people think that's selling snake oil. But I tell them, when you got your clarity, you got your vibe right, you got your mind right, and then you do this small thing called action, and it's aligned with all that, and it's in perfect alignment, and you're not getting away from that, it becomes a game changer for you. And when it becomes a game changer in that way, it changes everything. It will make it a lot easier to happen. What you do will be easy, more higher chance of being successful, or higher chance of being what you desire. So that's the key behind what you're doing and what you want to do at. So that's what I got for you guys. So I hope this has created a light bulb. Hopefully, I hope it elevates in some way, shape, or form. And on top of all of that, if you're liking what you're hearing, check out what we have to offer. Check out the free program. Check out the Coptic Center's summit that they're doing, the virtual summit. Check out, it's totally free. Get on the wait list for a Return to Greatness, Return to Your Source program. That is, or I think it's called Unlock Your Greatness, to be honest. I'm changing the name around too many times, but it's Unlock Your Greatness. And this is where I get into a lot of the stuff, and I share so much more. So get tuned, get a part of it, join our community. If you have any questions on any of this, you can always email me at drvic@empoweryourreality.com. That's in the show notes also. But subscribe, like, whichever you listen to, share the episode anyone you know can benefit. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I wish you nothing but the best, and peace and love.